The Big Apple, Manhattan behind us, standing here with the champ, UFC Women's Flyweight Champion, Valentina Shevchenko. Life as a champion, how has it changed you, Valentina?
For me, it's everything the same because this rhythm of the life, I used to do the same things. And of course, it's a little bit more like interview stuff, all kind of things. But for me, number one is training, and I do everything possible to complete my job and find the good time for the main time for the trainings.
You're fresh off a breakthrough fight in December. You win the vacant championship over former champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She moved up in weight. You had the rivalry with her in the past. Was the feeling any different than you thought to finally hear and the new, to have that belt put around your waist? What was that like?
You know, I was, before I started to compete in UFC, I already was 17 times world champion in Muay Thai, K1, and mixed martial arts. So for me, it was a little bit strange not to have this title again. That's why I was going to my goal. I was like on my way to the belt, and finally in December last year I received it, and I'm very happy, and now my goal is to hold it as long as I can.
Well, let's talk about this division here at Flyweight. Your giant name, a lot of hungry names underneath, but maybe not as much as you saw at bantamweight in terms of depth. Is there enough talent in this division at Flyweight to keep you busy for a long time?
You know, it is. It's a lot of talent in flyweight division. The other thing that now bantamweight we can see with a lot of history. It was first even strawweights that have much more history, more time in UFC. Now flyweight, it was like recently created, not so recently, but recently it started to move, and already we can see a lot of like very talented girls. And I think that in the future flyweight it will be #1 division in UFC.
I'm sure you'll play a big role in that, and we'll get to your first title defense here. UFC 238, Jessica Eye seemed very cordial, very nice when this fight was announced, but since then, I've been following you both on social media. Things are heating up. What's going on between you and Jessica?
You know, for me it was, every time it was normal. Even before we announced to fight each other, we was like saying hello to each other, even speak 2 words, and I was not, I didn't have any intention to change something, but looks like Jessica had something other in mind, but whatever, I don't care. If she feels that her ignorance things can help her in the fight, she's so mistaken.
How are you when you break down mentally as a fighter? Do you like when there's tension between you and your opponent? Does that help you? Does it get you fired up?
I don't care. It's easier for me. It doesn't affect me because I go into my goal to beat her up, and I will do it.
I love it. I love it. They call you the Bullet. We know you've got the gun tattooed. It's been a calling card for you. Where did you get this nickname? Take me back on how this all started.
My coach, Pavel Fedotov, is whom I train since very long years. I was 5 when I started to train with him, and he gave me this name, the Bullet, and you know, it was every time good for me. That's why I love this nickname and how it's all together came in one. My passion for shooting competition, for gun culture, and like in my martial arts, the speed, the power, everything, it's like all matching, and I'm very happy with my name.
You have such a cool backstory, being that you were born in the former Soviet Union in Kyrgyzstan, but sometimes you represent the country of Peru on your way to the octagon. Where did that connection start for you?
Yeah, we lived in South America, in Peru, for 8 years, and of course we compete for Peru, and it was very interesting years of our life because it's different culture, totally different, and I love this because I learned so much about different countries, different nations, different world, and it's very nice to travel and meet different kind of people. So I'm very happy of single day of my life how it happened, and I still going for more.
You're such a decorated martial artist overall. You mentioned not just in MMA, your backgrounds in Muay Thai, kickboxing, etc. When did it all start for you growing up in Kyrgyzstan? When did fighting become part of this day-to-day culture for you?
I started when I had 5 years old, as I said, and in my family it's like tradition to be martial artist because our mom, she's president of Kyrgyzstan Muay Thai Federation. Because of her, me and my sister, my older sister Antonina, she's also in UFC. She's 11-time world champion, and because of her, because of our mom, we started our way in martial arts. So she's a sportsman. She has a third dan black belt in Taekwondo. And I think before I was born, everybody knows that I will do martial arts.
There was pressure to get into the family business from the beginning?
From the beginning, as a child, I didn't feel any pressure. Of course, it was like something interesting, something new, a lot of friends doing the same things as me. And when I started, it was something like kind of a game, and we was playing, doing some exercises. It was fun. But when the things going harder, you start to think, oh, it's going harder. And when I was maybe 11, 12, and I realized that this world martial arts is exactly what I want to do in my life.
And you've taken it all the way to the top. You mentioned your sister Antonina had recently made her UFC debut, has a couple fights under her belt. I know where I come from, Valentina. The older sibling. Doesn't matter how successful the younger one is, the older brother or sister always knows how to push those buttons and usually can win the fight. What's it like when you guys spar? Who comes out on top?
We are training for so long together. We are doing all our things together. And on our trainings, we every time trying to help each other. It's not about like who is better. No, it's about to support each other. And even if she go hard, she knows it's good for me. Even I go hard, I know that in the fight it will be easier for her. That's why it's supporting each other and love to each other. I think it's for me number one.
Sometimes we talk to brother combinations in boxing, mixed martial arts. They say we can spar together, but not too much because sometimes the sibling rivalry. You're saying there's nothing here. You guys could go full throttle if you need to.
Yes, but it's more without emotions. We can hit each other hard on the training. We can do sparring, but it's not like something crazy and you want to hit your opponent or something like this. No, like I said before, it's everything going for good.
You mentioned your connection with the country of Peru. Unfortunately, amid your rise in UFC in 2016, you were involved in what was a scary situation, a shooting while you were a patron inside a restaurant. How much do you think back on that and think of, unfortunately, what could have happened and you were lucky to survive that?
I'm very happy that everything ended good. It's more important for me. And even like looking back, I didn't want to think what could happen because could happen anything. And I'm happy that my coach, Pavel, he's feeling good now and he's healthy and next to us, to my sister, to me, and we are doing our stuff together. We are doing the same things what we were used to do together during our lives, and this is for me more important. Family, friends connection, and love to martial arts.
When you go through an experience like that you didn't see coming, does it change you at all? Does it make you appreciate life any better? Did it change your mindset as a fighter?
I don't have to have some kind of things to appreciate my life because I was educated since like childhood to appreciate life, and of course these things when happened it's make you think, but it doesn't mean that to appreciate your life you have to live this kind of experience. You better don't live this kind of experience. Never.
You've proven, whether it was your run at bantamweight or now of course as the flyweight champion, you're such a tough out inside the cage. You can do so many different things. What do you think makes you special or unique as a fighter where outside of a couple losses no one's been able to really solve you or finish you or handle you?
I think it's all about my experience because I'm so long in martial arts. I do it for so many years, and I compete in different martial arts. I know different style, different techniques, and of course my coach, he's every time picking the best technique to put in me for my fights, to adopt the number one techniques to help to win me the fight. And this is the most what I think because I'm not for example, Muay Thai fighter or any fighter. I'm mixed martial arts fighter. I can use stand up, I can wrestle, I can grapple, I can do everything. And this is combination, I think it's good for MMA.
You're certainly right in the midst of the prime of your career. You just won a world title in the UFC. We established that. How much do you already think about the rest of your career, about legacy, about what you want to accomplish, what you want to leave behind and be remembered?
I just want to do my things. I just want to live every day and enjoy my things and do everything as best as I can. I don't want to think like for the future what I want to do to live or something like this. I just want to do everything as best as I can.
All right, I like that. Well, speaking as best as you can, would the future be at flyweight in your mind for the rest of your career? Would it be the idea of maybe moving to different weight classes again? How much do you think about that?
You never know what can happen in the future. Even tomorrow, we never know what can happen. So I cannot tell that for the rest of my career I will fight 125 or some else. But I know for sure that I want to defend my belt in flyweight as long as I can. And as I said every time, in 135 I still have one unfinished business.
Well, I wanted to bring that up. Your rival, the great champ herself, Amanda Nunes. I talked to her last week. I visited her in training camp. I said, look, I saw that interview where you said, I might think about cutting down to 125 and take Valentina's title. She said in the end, she tried it. It wasn't physically possible. When you heard those rumors, what were you thinking?
I was thinking she's huge, she's big. But if she wants to try in 125, she can do it every time I'm here. I'm waiting.
How much does it eat at you, knowing you had two fights with her? Both were very close. That rematch for the bantamweight title, a lot of people thought you won that. How often do you still think of the name Amanda Nunes when it comes to motivating yourself to keep moving forward?
I don't think I don't have this kind of motivation. I don't need this kind of motivation because I motivate myself by myself. And of course, there is like. She's in UFC, she's doing good things in UFC in her fights, and of course everyone bringing up her name and asking in my interviews about her. It's like part of the job, and I still know that in the future it's gonna happen sometimes, but for now I'm very focused in 125.
Is it personal between the two of you? I'm not trying to stir the pot here, Valentina, but does it get personal between the two of you at all, or is it just business?
You never know. It's so close, coming to each other. Sometimes you think it's business, but then it's like going to in personal. So it's very good question.
Well, I did want you to respond to one thing she said to me. I said, how much longer, Amanda, do you want to fight? She said, I got two fights I'm looking at. Holly Holm, which of course we'll see at 239, maybe a Cyborg rematch. I said, what about Valentina at 135, the trilogy? She said, doesn't matter to me. Valentina had her chance. She didn't fight like a champion in the rematch, so she can't keep saying she won. How do you respond to that?
She want to say she fought like a champion. What she want to say? She know, for me it's every time funny. She don't want this fight happen because she knows she never won that fight, the last fight between us. She knows that I won, and if not this lucky take down what I started, it was not. It will be different situation. It will be different totally, and she would lost her belt. So she know it clearly. That's why she don't have anything else just to say I'm not interested.
She did say she thought you ran in that rematch. That late takedown was a factor. But if you go back to your first meeting, UFC 196, a 3-round fight, it seemed like, especially in that last round, you had figured her out. Why are you the only one who seems to know how to maybe exploit Amanda Nunes a little bit, where she's been on such a dominant run, nobody else has come close?
I just can say it's all about experience because being smaller, much smaller than your opponents, you have to find your right tactic against them, because it's one thing, for example, now in 125 I feel that fighting in same sized opponent, it's different things. You have different power, different like measurements, and all like combining together. But fighting Holly Holm, Nunes, it was totally different because I knew they are heavier, they are higher, they had like longer arms and legs, and I had to find something else. And it's this thing has made me to think, to be more as just a fighter, to be an analyzing fighter, and to find the right way to win the fight. And this is what we are doing during all my life, during all my career, trying to be the best.
All right, well, Amanda, I mentioned, has that big fight, UFC 239, July 6th. Holly Holm, the former champion. Got to put your analyst hat on here. Break down for us. You fought both. You defeated Holly. You came close against Amanda. Who wins that fight?
Every time it's very difficult to say, to predict, because when two strong fighters fighting each other, it's everything can happen. It's as we see like previous fight of girls, and everything can happen. But personally, me, I'm rooting for Holly Holm.
One final question on Amanda. I don't want to beat this down, but a lot of people calling her the GOAT. the greatest of all time. Some people say she's already there. Some people say she's got to beat Holly first. I asked her. She said, yes, I am the greatest. Your opinion on that statement?
I don't like this kind of statements. And even like people, even men's fighters, when they are like feeling they are did everything like number one and no one can beat them, I don't feel that it's good to say about yourself. If people like saying about yourself this kind of stuff, it's good, but it's personally me. It's like how I was educated. You just a fighter, you just do your fight to create your image, to create your like personality and do all things what you are enjoying. But to say like things like like this, it's not my style.
I like that. I like that. Her style is all about business. You're going to have that fight we mentioned, Jessica UFC 238. What can we expect that night in the cage?
I did everything like in my training camp to put me in the top like level on my preparation, and here I am feeling strong, feeling confident, and will do everything to finish fight sooner. I know Jessica, she's a good fighter. She is like versatile and she has like stand-up, ground game, whatever, but nothing can surprise me. I will do everything to be better than her.
She's a Renaissance woman, a decorated fighting champion. She's a good shooter, too. Also, there's the dancing element here. You got that great victory dance to close here. Can you train me a little bit? What am I missing here? How do you do that thing? Is that only for after victories?
It's not. It's actually, it's very traditional dance, and everybody can dance and like whenever. And for example, in Kyrgyzstan, in my country, it's Russian dance, but even in Kyrgyzstan, everybody dances it on every kind of celebration and wedding party and disco and everywhere. So we can do like few moves here, just easy one.
Oh, here we go.
Go 1 and 2, like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, just without like any jumping.
Without any jumping, okay.
1 and 2, 1 and 2, just legs. 1 and 2, and then we started to go in faster.
You're exposing my lack of balance here, Valentina. I love it. We'll find out at UFC 238 if the victory dance will be there. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure of mine.